Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Behind me we have something a little bit different. It's the brand new Hyundai Kona Electric. EDF Energy recently watched my Audi E-TRON video and contacted me regarding their new electric vehicle offering. What that consists of is a one-stop shop for people looking at leasing EV vehicles like this one behind me. In the package you actually get a choice of a number of different electric vehicles, you get a home charger, and you get an EV Go electric tariff, all in one package. To me, that makes owning an electric car a bit more appealing. The Kona Electric is offered in two variants and a number of trim levels. Now, the one behind me is the 39 kilowatt hour. They also do a 64 kilowatt hour. The reason I chose this one is because it is very affordable. Obviously, the whole point of the EDF Energy program is you'll be paying monthly, so check out the description below for your specific quote on whatever car you want from their offering. What I like about this car, a bit like with the e-tron, is the fact that it kind of looks a bit normal, as in people look at this car on the street, they might walk past it, they're not necessarily going to know that it's an electric car, and for me that's a plus point, because I think when electric cars started to hit the scene, they just tended to look like they were aliens or from another planet, whereas this particular car looks very similar to a normal Kona with a combustion engine, but there are a few telltale signs, so let's walk around and have a quick look at those. So a couple of the telltale signs that this is the electric version are the unique alloy wheels, which actually look pretty good, not too bad at all. Once you get along the front of the car, this doesn't have a combustion engine under the bonnet, it actually has the big electric motor, which needs or relies on a lot less cooling, so therefore the radiator or the big vents leading into the radiator have gone, and you've actually got like a continuous smooth nose. Aside from the wheels, down the side of the car, as far as I'm aware, there's really no other signs that this is an electric car. But once we get around the back, there's an electric badge on there to tell you that it's electric, and obviously there's no exhaust. This shape or variant is another confusing car, a bit like the Audi SQ2 that I recently tested, in the sense that it is kind of a hatchback and it is kind of an SUV. I think the idea behind it is to give you a bit of a higher driving position and the practicality of an SUV, but in quite a nice compact sort of size. So I'd call it a mini SUV if there is such a thing in the market. Let's jump inside and see what the cabin space is like. I am between 6'3" and 6'4" on a good day, so let's see if we can get 4 Joes in this car comfortably. If we can, that's very impressive. So this is set in my driving position. It's reasonably comfortable up here. I'm sitting a little bit too high, as I am in the majority of cars, to be fair. But there is height adjustment on the seat, and the seat itself is not too bad. You know, it's all reasonably basic in here, but we'll talk more about that once we get the car out on the road. But in terms of actual driving position, it's not too bad. You've got reach and rake adjustment on the steering, and the wheel itself actually feels really nice. So yeah, space wise in the front, I'm very comfortable. Let's see if we can get another Joe behind me. Oh. Wow. We could squeeze another Joe in the back here. To be fair, headroom, yeah, I'm about 1.5 inches short on that, or 1.5 inches too tall, and legroom is very limited. But, you know, I am a giant, and let's face it, if there was a 6-foot driver and someone of about 5'8", 5'9" in the back, it would be quite comfortable. This has got 3 rows of seats. There's no transmission tunnel, so actually the middle row is usable, but for a tiny adult or a small child, because for me, yes, I don't feel particularly comfortable in here. But it is handy having the 3 seats and the third seat belt if you need it. Obviously, if you're just the 2 passengers in the back, you've got some cup holders there. Oh, it's a bit tight in there. And then obviously boot space. As you can see, it's not the biggest boot in the world, and I have done some of my research, and in fact the normal Kona, as in the cars or the Konas with combustion engines, have the same size boot, so we're not losing any boot space due to it being an EV. It's just not a particularly large boot to start with, but it has got some reasonably useful under boot storage. Stick some paperwork in there, some jewelry, I guess, and then you've got some tools down here. You've also got both the chargers, so you've got your charger for your home plug down there, which plugs into your normal 3-pin home plug, and then you've got your speedy charger in this particular bag here, which is a much thicker cable for higher currents. As with any modern family vehicle, it does have fold down rear seats as well, so you can put some larger items in there with the seats folded down. Which reminds me, I've actually got some stuff that I need to take to the dump, so maybe I should go and get that now, see if we can get it in here, because it certainly doesn't fit in my M2. Oh, this is going to be interesting. This is about 5 foot tall, I'd say. Let's see if it slides in. Ah, no worries whatsoever. That was almost too easy. Right, let's chuck some more stuff in there. Another table. Oh. Easy peasy. Still got enough space to put all the camera equipment in there. Brilliant. Well, there's something quite satisfying about taking an electric car down to a recycling dump and doing some recycling. I'm feeling particularly eco and green today, which is a nice change, and certainly offsets a lot of the stuff that I do on my channel. Let's start with the actual review of this Hyundai Kona electric car. As mentioned earlier on, this is the lower power of the 2 versions available. It's the 39 kilowatt hour version that gives us an equivalent of 134 brake horsepower, and performance figure wise, that's 96 mile an hour top speed and 0 to 60 of 9.7 seconds. That doesn't sound particularly fast in this day and age, and to me those figures suggest that I'm going to struggle to keep up with the flow of your normal traffic. But in reality, like with all electric cars, it's the torque figure that does the magic. It's the torque figure that throws this car down the road, and it's the instantaneous torque figure. So you pretty much have maximum torque the minute you put your foot on the throttle. And for those of you that haven't ever driven an EV, it's the first thing, aside from the lack of sound, that really gets you. You just can't believe it. It makes you giggle the first few times, because you're just not used to an engine responding like that, because engines don't respond like that. If I put my foot down in my M2, there's about a 2 or 3 second period where it ramps up and the turbo starts spinning, and then you start flying down the road. But in this car, the initial pickup is instantaneous, and it's really comical. So considering this is the lowest power version, it certainly, to me, feels like it's got plenty of poke and will throw you down the road very, very well. If you wanted to know what the torque figure was, it's actually 290 pound-foot of torque, which is a lot of torque for a car that only puts out 134 brake horsepower. In terms of handling, it feels pretty good, you know. I think a lot of the weight, again, as with most electric cars, is down on the floor. So it actually feels relatively good. We've talked about performance and the fact that it certainly feels a lot quicker than the figures suggest, but in terms of handling, there's very little body roll. It has plenty of grip by the sort of feel of things. The brakes are really good. Talking of brakes, let's have a quick talk about the regeneration side of this car, because a lot of electric vehicles these days regenerate as you're slowing down. So the minute you come off the accelerator, you can feel the car regenning, a bit like a modern F1 car, in fact. And so when I come off the accelerator now, I can feel an abnormal amount of friction slowing me down. And what that is the systems, the braking systems, throwing some power, or lost power normally, back into the battery. And I can control that with the paddles here. Some of you might have noticed the paddles that I've got here, and they're not for changing gear because you don't have gears in an electric car, but they are in fact for controlling the amount of regen I want. And I've also figured out that this left paddle I can pull, and it actually works like a fairly effective brake. And me doing that has added about 0.2 or 0.3 of a mile to my overall range. So you're always trying to add range where you'd normally just be coasting or, you know, off the power in a combustion engine car. And obviously I've got 3 different drive modes down here. I've got an Eco Pro, I've got a sports mode, and I've got a comfort mode. When you're in the Eco mode, it switches straight to full regen. So when you come off the accelerator, it feels like you're on the brakes, but you're actually not. It's just the regen working at its full capacity. In terms of warranty for the batteries, I'm sure some of you will be sort of questioning that and wondering what the case is with warranty. Well, this particular car comes with an 8-year warranty on the batteries. That's pretty good, considering most of us really only tend to keep cars for 2, 3, 4 years. An 8-year warranty on the batteries is not bad at all. And this being a Hyundai, it comes with its standard 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, which again is really impressive for a car costing this little. What I did want to say was it's really nice to get in a car like this Kona that is based on a combustion engine car, and even though this is a fully electric one, it hasn't eaten into any of the practicalities that the combustion car's got. So there's nothing in this cabin to tell me that, you know, you're losing valuable cabin space because you've got giant batteries and other bits of electronics around you. So that's really good, and I'm massively impressed with that. I have to say, things like cabin noise, and you do have to criticize cabin noise, especially in EVs, because you've got no combustion engine to drown out your normal sort of cabin noise or tire roar. So the one thing you listen to or listen for in an EV is things creaking around the interior or excess tire roar and that sort of thing. And I have to say, again, it's not too bad in here at all. It's not up to levels of, say, the Audi E-TRON that I tried, because I mean, that was just massively impressive, but that had things like double glazing glass, etc., and was in a completely different pricing segment to this car. We have to remind ourselves that this is effectively a sub £30,000 electric vehicle, and that is really impressive when you consider it. What many people want to know about when talking about electric cars is the range. And this particular car, the 39 kilowatt hour version, has a real world average range of 155 miles. Now, as with all electric cars, that can fluctuate a lot depending on who's behind the wheel of the car and things like weather conditions. I know that sounds crazy, but in cold weather conditions, you get less range. On really nice mild days like today, you get more range. And what's fascinating about this car, and it really brings to light things that we don't think about in our combustion engine car, is things like when you turn the air conditioning up, you can actually watch the range go down. You could be sitting there, I was doing it earlier on, sitting there playing with the air conditioning up and down, and I can watch the range fluctuate. And that is actually a reality, because air conditioning units in cars do use a lot of juice. And in your combustion car, you know, the engine has to work harder to effectively charge the battery up or keep the power supply going. In an electric car, obviously that's coming straight off the electric batteries and therefore reducing the range. But 155 miles is exactly kind of what I'm feeling, because when I got in this car, I think it had a estimated range of about 200, and I've done about 40 miles, and it's currently saying that I've got 125 miles left in the battery cells. I almost said in the tank then, but it obviously doesn't have a tank or a fuel tank. It has a fuel cell. So what happens when the car runs out of batteries and you need to charge it up? Because with your combustion engine, you just go and fill it up with fuel. In the case of an EV like this one, you can plug it in at home, and using your normal regular mains, it will take just over 20 hours to charge. But with the EDF Energy package, you get a home charging system installed, and that basically reduces the 20+ hour charging time to just 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours is a great amount of time, because it means you can get in the evening, plug the car in, and by the time you need the car again in the morning, it's going to be fully charged. There's also the rapid charging systems that are dotted around the country, and you see them popping up more and more as the infrastructure grows. And with one of those, that would charge this car from, say, 10% to 80% power in about 50 minutes. So if you wanted a quick charge and you had one of them along the route on a really long journey, for instance, it's not a problem at all, and you could have lunch or dinner or whatever whilst that's going on. In fact, let's go and do that now. I'll go and find a charger in my local town, plug the car in, and go and find some lunch. And that way we can see what it's all about and how easy or hard it is to do. Okay, we've now plugged the car in, and another benefit I've just realised running an electric car, at the moment at least, is the fact that this is a relatively busy and full car park, yet there are 6 empty electric bays here, so I can just cruise in, choose any of them, plug the car in. This particular charging bay is a 7 kilowatt hour version. I need to set up an app quickly on my phone, because obviously I don't own an electric car. Normally it would all be saved in my phone. Make sure it's all running, we can go and grab some lunch and hopefully come back and the car will have some extra range in it. Right, I am all fed and watered, and the car has had a little bit of charge whilst I was doing that, which is a bonus, and that all seemed to work pretty well. Like the app worked really well, the plug-in and charging process worked well. It was clear that the car was charging. I could see here on the dashboard, and also at the front of the car there was some signs telling me that it was charging, so that's really cool. I guess I need to conclude now really about this car, and whether I like it or not, whether I think it's good enough to be a family car, or good enough to be a daily car. And I have to say, I have to keep reminding myself that it is effectively a £30,000 car. So there are a lot of sort of substandard plastics in here. It's not what I'm used to on my channel, and certainly not like something, like the Audi E-TRON that I had recently. But that Audi E-TRON off memory was 80-odd thousand pounds. So you're gonna expect it to feel a lot less quality and a lot less premium in here, and it does, but everything works really well. Everything is what you would expect. The air conditioning is really good. The infotainment system seems okay. This one doesn't have nav though, but a lot of people tend to use their phones, and a lot of the charging stations and stuff have apps, relevant apps that you can use to plot out your route and figure out where you're going to next charge your car. But everything else in here is really good. Like the seats are very comfortable, they're very basic, they're like quite a hard sort of cloth material, but they feel good and supportive. And yeah, I mean, it's not a bad car. Would I have one? Probably not. I'm not ready. I'm not quite ready for an electric car, full stop. And if I was going to get one, then it would be something of a more premium brand, or something like the slightly quirky BMW i3, which I quite fancy. And that's what's great about EDF Energy's electric vehicle offerings. There's a number of different packages or price points to go from. So whether it's i3 or something like this Kona Electric, or something far more premium, there's always a price point and package to suit everyone. And a quick reminder, that includes the car, that includes your home charger, and that includes an EV Go Electric tariff. If you want to find out more about EDF Energy's leasing options, please find the link to their website below in the description. Head over to their website and check out all of the vehicles they've got on offer and the various price points that you can get these packages for. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, so please give us a thumbs up if you did. Leave any comments and questions below, and let me know if you want to see any more videos focusing on EV cars. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you at the next one.